How are you? Excellent. You don't have to participate. I promise I won't do that to you. My name is Graham McBain. I'm the co-founder of Barb AI. This is the first time I'm talking about it in public to a group of more than 3 people. Super excited about this. That was a terrible noise. Barb is a conversational AI for home buyers. I don't know what that. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. That's what the point of the presentation. So who here has tried to buy a home anytime in the last little while, or even thought about it, maybe gone to an open house, looked on Zillow, that sort of thing? You can't say you haven't looked on Zillow. Everybody looks at fancy houses they can't afford. Okay. So that process has been really broken for both sides of the transaction. If you haven't actually gone into this, when you go to buy real estate, you're interested, and then someone represents you. That person is called a buyer's agent. But from a buyer's perspective, there's a lot of stuff that's broken about this process. Almost any other thing you want to go buy, everything has been ironed out to make it super smooth. There's a lot of great onboarding for you as a customer, but as a buyer of real estate, there's not a lot of that. You do most of the searching yourself. You go on Zillow, you tell them what you want to look at. If you've ever been to an open house, please sign up. Oh, the seller just wants you to put in your email. No, it just feels sticky and gross. So for being a buyer for real estate, especially for such a high ticket item, it feels not fun to go through that process, even though it should be a really exciting time. As a buyer's agent, it's even worse. It's a really cost-intensive process. From deciding that I think I want to buy a house to getting to the point of actually pulling the trigger and closing on a deal can be anywhere from 6 months to a year. And if you're an agent and you need to show tons and tons of people property, it's just super cost-intensive, and you really can't afford to give people the kind of service that they really want and that we used to be able to give them. So that's where Barb comes in. So right now, real estate agents do their best to give you a really great experience. If you want to go buy a house, you say, hey, I'm looking to buy a house. I heard you're selling real estate right now because your friend's cousin is the person who's an agent. And they're like, oh, great, where are you looking? I'm not really sure. What would be a good area for me? They're like, oh, I don't know. Why don't you go figure it out? Come back to me, which is not, it never happens anywhere. So what we've come up with is Barb. Hey, there we go. So this is sort of a little snapshot of what it looks like working with Barb. Barb is a conversational real estate agent, or conversational real estate AI. For those of you who don't know what that means, she's a chatbot. She's an artificial intelligence chatbot. She knows everything about real estate, everything about MLS, and everything about every individual property that you want to search. So instead of saying to her, hey, I'm looking for a house, Barb can, and her saying, oh, what do you want? Barb can start showing you properties that are on the market right now. So here's a house that's available around you. And you can say something like, ooh, how much is that? And instead of Barb just looking at MLS like an agent would and reading off the price that's already on MLS, Barb can give you all kinds of rich information about it. She can say, oh, it came on at $599, it was sold in $289, told you it was sold a long time ago. Ooh, take me there. Great, it's about 5 miles away. So Barb is your always on, always available real estate agent that knows everything about every property in the market. Who is she? This is actually Barb. Barb is my mom. Barb was a realtor for 25 years. This is her picture, circa 2003. She doesn't know I'm using this right now, so that's fun. So I watched my mom kill herself be a real estate agent. She became a realtor when I was 10 and started going back to work, and she helped everyone. She was the go get 'em new realtor on the market. She would take any lead. She gave a guy a custom helicopter tour of a site, and then he decided he didn't want to buy it anymore. So she's sort of gone up this ladder of being a buyer, or being a buyer's agent, and really informed me that this is a really tough place to be. I became a realtor a little later because I wanted to follow in her footsteps. Who wouldn't want that awesome hair? And I learned myself that being a realtor is really hard. Being a buyer's agent is really hard. I had a client who I showed 67 homes to, and she was really rude to me. She would text me at like 10 o'clock at night and be like, I want to see this house first thing in the morning. She didn't buy it. She just said, I don't think I want to work with you anymore. And there's no recourse for that because the market is so strange and disjointed. So that's why we came up with Barb. Google predicts that AI agents are going to handle 85% of customer interaction by 2020. That sounds like a long time away, but I have a kid now, and that doesn't sound like that far at all. Google does a lot of stuff for you right now. Who's noticed on Google Maps where you're going home, it says, hey, is this your home? And you can start to mark it like that. All of that is artificial intelligence, machine learning. They're integrating it into everything that they do. And they really believe that this is the new interface. Who's heard of No UI or ubiquitous UI? Cool, so that's this idea that everywhere you go, there will be a computing interface around you. You'll be able to connect with it by voice, and it's gonna infer a lot about you and what you want from the context of where you are. So you're in your car, right? You say, Barb, this neighborhood is really great. what are some houses around here? That might sound crazy, but Amazon and Google have both signed deals with car manufacturers to put their smart agents inside your car. So Barb can then get the context of where you are on the road. She can look at houses in the market near you. She can even send directions to an open house to your car's navigation. So building for this new interface is really what the premise of Barb is built around, and we're trying to leverage that. So what's next? Barb is sort of in beta mode. We've got some simple stuff going on right now, but we want to build out our MVP features. So we want her to be able to show you home listings. You'd be able to create searches with her, and she can send you a text or send you a message to update you when something new comes on the market. And what we really want to get to is that thing that I talked about at the beginning. Barb needs to be the best agent in the world. She needs to know what you like. So when you're looking at the property she shows you, she can see what rooms you think are most important, what areas you actually like, and so she can really view your whole experience and start to send you tailored listings, like agents of old used to do, but she'll be able to do it with the power of machine learning and artificial intelligence. So the first chat distribution platforms, we're building a rich chat application that you'll download just to chat with Barb. You'll also be able to talk to her on the Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa platforms, and then there'll be some email integration as well. Kevin, my co-founder, is getting very nervous as I start to add on all these features out loud in front of you all, but that's about it. So how can you help? Sorry, taking this question. Beta testers, where if anybody's interested in buying a house, as we get a little bit closer, we really want to see what it's like to interact with this. If the whole premise we need to figure out is this actually better than working with an agent? We really believe it is. Google and Amazon believe it is, but we need to get your feedback to be able to do that. We want to talk to brokerages. We think this is a really powerful way to help brokerages' most senior and best agents get more clients and be able to work better with them. And so if you're a new home buyer, instead of working with your cousin Susie to buy a house, you can actually work with the best broker at an office, because all they have to do is come in and close you once you know most of the stuff you need to know because of Barb. And then investors. Once we get the product out, once we get some initial testers on board, we really want to pour gasoline on this fire and be the #1 way people find real estate. So that is Barb. Thank you guys so much. Way early.
Since you stole my thunder.
Please.
Go ahead, questions.
I have a question. So it looks like this covers everything but actually getting into the house and looking at it.
Correct. Yeah, so that's a feature we want to get to for sure.
So there is a founder going through the Founder Institute Accelerator right now, who his idea is sort of, I don't know if you'd call it Uber for getting into a house, but basically there's a house you want to see, it shows you the agents who are nearby, and you pick an agent to come and let you in.
Yeah.
So it might be interesting to chat with him. If
Yeah.
you're interested, I can connect you. I don't think he has anything coded yet.
Yeah, I'd love to chat with him. I think that sort of falls in line with what traditional marketing exists right now, which is someone says they're interested in a home. I, as the platform, have no idea where they are in the buying process, but I'm going to connect them to a realtor in a new and novel way. What we're hoping to do is to inform and educate the buyer, so by the time we connect them to an agent, we're not connecting them to any old agent. We're connecting them to somebody who knows our platform, knows our product, and knows how to work with it. Because when you get a client from Barb, and I'm a realtor, right? And I've been doing this for 25 years. I only help people who know what they're doing. And I get a text from Barb that says, hey, someone wants to look at a house in your neighborhood. They're 85% likely to close on this property. They've been looking at properties for 6 months. They know X, Y, and Z. So I'm giving them so much rich data about that client that I wouldn't want to hand them off round robin like that. I want to hand them off to the best person that I know is going to close that deal. We put a lot of work into making that agent, or making that client ready to buy. And so we want the person we hand them off to be the best possible agent for their situation. But I think that's an interesting opportunity. It might be like a feature of what we add at some point. Please.
So I thought your presentation was really awesome. I've been talking to you about this, didn't understand it. I feel like the idea came out great. And
Good.
Now I know exactly what you're doing. Some improvements I think you can
Please.
make. There was one thing you said during the presentation that I felt like really changed the mood in my mind about your presentation. It was a small wording that you said, my mom killed herself doing this. And that gave me, I don't know, what that's all about, but it gave me a very negative connotation after that. So maybe miss that, or maybe just say she worked really hard or something like that.
Yeah, totally.
The other thing that probably how you can help, maybe put a goal there. So like we need 25 beta testers.
Sure.
Right? Because then who's ever in there is going to feel like, oh, I'm exclusive. I'm part of one of the 25, right?
Totally. And it makes it a more a more achievable goal, someone can feel like they helped me get to 25. Thank you. That's really good feedback. Yeah.
So I have not bought a house, but when I was looking for apartments through Zillow, something I was frequently frustrated by was I'd see something on Zillow and then I'd get there and they had either increased the price or someone had already rented it. So I'm curious where you're getting your data that Barb is using and if that is something that's rapidly updating enough or you have a solution to kind of that issue.
Yeah, so real estate data is the sticky underbelly of the real estate world. So you would imagine that all of the homes listed on the internet, or all of the homes listed across the United States are available by some API or some data stream that you could see every single home. That's not the truth. There are 600 individual MLSs around the country. They're all owned by the individual regional MLS. So the Sacramento area regional MLS is different from the Bay Area one. Each one of them has their own data format, their own data license agreement, and they all provide it differently. So at first, we're going to be getting data from a data aggregator, and we'll be able to get it at the speed with which everybody updates it. Ideally, we want to create our own agreements in place with each and one of those MLSs. And the point of the product being to funnel high qualified buyers to the best agents in the market. We hope that that will convince those MLSs that we should be able to ping as quickly as possible, that kind of stuff. Also, rental data is even messier than buyer data.
Walk me through the use case from I'm thinking about buying a home to discovering Barb and how I interacted with Barb and how help me understand how I get to know that Barb exists and that Barb's on Alexa or Barb's wherever.
Yeah, absolutely. So at first, what we're going to do to get beta testers to get out in the market, we really want to focus on this one geography just to nail down what we're doing. And the way that we're going to do that is the same way that buyers agents get buyers today. So I'm going to set open houses. And I'm going to have people come in an open house, and I'll be like, hey, while you're checking out this house, are you working with an agent? Have you thought about working with Barb? And then I can give them a demo, they can check out the product, they can download the app right there, and they can start working with her and start looking at open houses that way. So that's sort of obviously that's not scalable, but that type of marketing. So what's cool about Barb, and what I think is interesting about this whole no UI, is we're not marketing a brand. This isn't like Zillow, the home search, blah, blah, it's Barb. Barb is a person. When as she grows, Barb should be able to infer the way that you like to talk and talk to you in that manner. Barb is an agent, so we get to market her as a real estate agent. We don't have to market her as a thing or a that or a this. So we might just put up billboards that say, buy real estate with Barb, and literally have my mom's picture on the front of it. Like you get to market it just like you do a regular real estate agent, and then there'll be sort of taglines, interesting subversive stuff that says that it's an artificial intelligent agent. Is that clear where you're...
Yeah, do you have any idea? So ultimately, you think it's advertising the same way real estate agents at the market today?
Yeah, I think I somehow missed my how we make money slide. Maybe I didn't get there yet. But yeah, so there's 3 ways we're going to make money. So as a home buyer, as you go through the process, before you actually look at a property, you need to get pre-qualified. So we can do loan origination. We can actually get set up as a loan originator if we want. We haven't decided that, but then we'll be able to earn money that way. Referral fees to agents. So when you're an agent, we hand it over. We don't charge you for leads. You pay us a commission when you close the deal, which is also really attractive. But then finally, SaaS and licensing models. So we'll be able to do there. Most brokerages spend a ton of money getting buyer leads. They spend it with Zillow. They spend it on their own website. They spend it in all these places. And then they take all of these very valuable, very expensive buyer leads and hand it over to brand new agents that are working part-time and say, hey, call this list. And that's their value proposition. Well, what we can do is say, all that money you're taking, funnel it directly to Barb. Barb will give you every person the same experience. You'll be able to track everything that she talks about with those people. You may be able to maybe listen for when they have an expression online and reach out to them proactively as Barb. I don't know if you know a company that can help me do that. I'm talking specifically to this guy who does that. Yes?
Do you have a working MVP, and when will you be ready for beta?
Yeah, so we're hoping to get something out by the end of the year. We've got I built a really crappy MVP. Kevin laughed at me, and then he started working on a slightly better one. But yeah, so we're getting out there. There's some really powerful tools that help you build this kind of dialogue interface, and so we've been leveraging those. But I would say at the end of the year, we'd like to have something.
So are you looking to do it all on your own, or are you looking to possibly apply to accelerator programs?
We haven't really talked about that. The 2 co-founders are both sort of sole breadwinners in the family, so we need to be very careful about this, but we'd like to do If we did go to an accelerator, we really talked about this, but I would really only want to do like YC, one of the big ones, because I think that it's just such a huge opportunity, and I only want to do the best.
Right. And then there's a couple of companies, startups here who do real estate type stuff. SkySlope is big. There's a startup called ActiveX in Roseville that has kind of a back-end system for mortgage brokers. They go to like real estate trade shows and things like that, and I'm wondering if that might be a way for you to get out there. Even if you can't afford a booth, you can at least, walk the show and
or make a custom version of Barb that gives you a tour of the booths at the show, and then you can market that out surreptitiously. No big deal. You sauce that together, right, Kevin? No, I think we definitely want to go after that market. I think for us right now, it's proving that this isn't stupid, right? Like proving that someone does this, they like it, it's addictive, and it's really, really fun. And if we can do that, then it's off to the races. Absolutely go to the real estate shows, absolutely get in front of the major sort of real estate investment funds, because there's a lot of opportunity. The residential real estate buyers market is who we're going after first, but apartments, there's a ton of opportunity for this. This problem exists across real estate.
So SkySlope was completely bootstrapped. Recently somebody bought, I think, a controlling interest in their company. But DJ, is it
Stefan or Stefan?
Yeah. He's one of the co-founders, and he's usually real supportive of our startup industry here. So if you want an introduction, Jennifer,
I would love that. Yeah, any introductions? I'd just like to talk. Many of you have met me before, so super happy to chat with people. Yes, sir.
So I've actually been looking into this space a little bit, so I have a little bit of context and around bots. Have you seen a company called DOS, D-O-S-S? So maybe look into that. They recently, pretty recently in the last couple of months, came out with their announcement around doing this similar type of thing. I don't know if they're doing kind of the buyer's agent replacement.
We're not a replacement. We're the sort of early lead up, but yeah.
So they're doing some interesting stuff. I think they're working with IBM Watson to power their ML and some of those things. So look at those guys. DOSS. They're back east. I think the other kind of feedback I would give was around positioning this as it relates to realtors and brokerage houses. I've done some interviews recently with agents, and I think that you're going to have to be just really thoughtful about what your narrative is.
Yes.
Because those guys, if they don't hear the right things or they hear something that's a little iffy from you, good luck with that. They're you're not going to replace me. There's really that level of perspective, I think, from many agents and brokerage houses out there. So I think it's really important to think about where does this offering sit? Is it really more of a kind of an augmented lead gen for agents? To your point, agents spend about $6 billion a year in the US buying leads. So there's a lot of value when you can bring really well qualified and kind of enriched leads and buyers to agent groups, for sure. So maybe that's a way to actually think about you're not just sending them someone's name who submitted a form online, but you're actually bringing this whole package of a buyer's party to this agent group.
Yeah, I think it's more lead nurturing than lead generating.
Right.
Totally.
What you're doing is you're packaging, you're packaging up. You've done the pre-qual and the loan. You've got all this information that you've pulled in around the buyer's profile. So it's not just a name, a phone number, an app, whatever it might be. You've got this whole kind of warm lead and nurtured package that you're bringing over to these folks, which the average price of a lead, I think, is about $150.
Yeah.
Right? But maybe this is $300 or whatever it is.
We're hoping to go so the standard referral commission is anywhere between 5 and 25%. So we want to get it so that to the point where we're earning a referral commission. We don't want to charge up front. And basically because that's our whole value prop, is that you shouldn't just get a list of leads and have to nurture and validate them yourself. We're doing we're pre-qualifying. We're a bank of pre-qualifying leads. But I totally appreciate
Yeah,
the
for sure.
feedback, and getting to where we are now about saying what our real goal is so that you've got a bunch of really experienced agents in your office, and right now they're not helping new buyers that are unsure because it's just not economically feasible for them. They're doing listings. That's the only thing that makes any money for them.
Yeah.
So we want to connect. We want to sort of make it easy for them to help buyers again and benefit from the experience of buyers. So the positioning we're getting towards is your most experienced agents getting more work, that kind of thing. Or if you're an experienced agent, getting more work.
Yeah, and being able to tie in your platform with the existing like CRM tools that are often used, or lead tools that are used by agents, I think is going to be a key piece.
Yep.
Because no one's going to want to juggle multiple, software tools and apps.
Totally. Yeah, Barb can just update lead status and all that kind of stuff to their CRM. That's valuable information. Yeah.
Yeah. So one last suggestion.
Yeah. No, that's good.
And this is something
That's why I'm here.
we found to be pretty helpful, and maybe you've already started doing this. And I think for you, it's a great fit because of your consumer focus. But putting up landing pages, just like a little micro site, and driving traffic through Facebook or whatever it would be, which is really inexpensive.
Yeah.
You can actually get a reasonable feel, I think, for how people would take to utilizing this. Like sign me up, or yes,
Yep.
click to start, or whatever it would be, right?
Totally. Yeah.
And you can actually get a sense of, hey, I spent $1,000 and we got X number of people who we feel like would have started using the product based on the interactions on the pages.
Yeah.
So we can infer that from that we have a CAC of whatever, and now we know per $1,000 spend, this is how many customers we can kind of expect to get.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can kind of reverse engineer it that way, especially in the consumer space, and then kind of come at it that way to get a better kind of predictive model for what you're looking to do. Because as you say, when you want to pour gas on it, you need to know, like, if I pour gas on it, what's that going to look like?
Yeah, you can't pour gas on me doing open houses in Sacramento.
Right, that's not really scalable.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great for.
It's just to get feedback.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think you can get sort of more diversified feedback by utilizing that kind of a
and tracking it. And
campaign model. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. That's good feedback. And we definitely, we're sort of in build the first one mode, but definitely we need to be concurrently thinking about that stuff. Coming faster than anticipated. So, cool. Any other questions? No? Party on? Well, Monday.